This is the view from our driveway. This is what we see every time we leave the house and every time we come home. And finally, after 3.5 years, I'm ready to tackle this horrid, dead patch of rock hard dirt. Years ago, this whole area had been covered with landscape fabric and tiny rocks. By the time we moved here, the fabric had completely deteriorated and these rocks were embedded in the dirt. This area was dry, compacted, lifeless, and there were multiple colonies of red ants everywhere. So we just committed to keeping the weeds low in the spring and waited for them to die every summer. And to be clear, we are renters. We don't own this property. So throwing thousands of dollars at a full landscape makeover was never realistic for us. Instead, I started small and just started with the few plants I brought from our previous home. But they had left there with thrips and spider mites and were all gone within weeks. My mom had transitioned about a year earlier, so when those plants transitioned too, it felt a bit symbolic. That was all I needed to just say, forget it. I took it as another sign to just give up on life. But then our landlord's maintenance guy offered me a bunch of pots. Pots he'd used to pot. Get it? Bigger than anything my cheap butt would have ever invested in. So of course I took them. That was a lifesaver because there was no way I could grow anything in the ground here in this crappy soil. So I started a container garden, and that became my survival garden. Not for food survival, but for emotional, mental, and spiritual survival. I needed something alive to care for. I needed somewhere to put my energy, somewhere to breathe, somewhere to love something while I prepared myself for the next big move in my life, living an alcohol-free life. Every morning, I had something to water, something to check on, something dependent on me to survive. I needed to feel needed, and the garden gave me that. Fast forward to today, and my number one goal for this property is to build healthy, organically rich soil any and everywhere something can grow. Because once you've watched dead dirt slowly come back to life, you start realizing recovery is possible. Lately, I've been checking out the containers filled with soil that I've been building for years and comparing their plants to the ones in new beds with newer soil. The plants tell the story. Healthy soil grows healthy crops. So now I'm on a mission to build healthy, organically rich, native soil here on this property. I'm already growing eggplants, peppers, tomatoes, and companion plants directly in the ground, thanks to 3 chip drops over 2 years and composting. Just 3.5 years ago, I honestly couldn't imagine growing directly in this dirt. But now I want my landscape's beauty to match its function. And that's how we got here. This dry, dull patch of land, the one we see pulling out the driveway, the same one that greets us when we pull up at home every day. It's a monstrosity, a reminder that my thirst for beauty has been lacking for years now. This neglected patch of land needs both beauty and function, but it must remain low maintenance and drought tolerant. And I want to be able to hang out there by the end of this summer. That's why I'm on a mission to create a sitting area, a little retreat filled with lush greenery, flowers, and pollinators everywhere. But that all starts with healthy soil, and one of the best ways to build it from rock, hard, desert dirt is with cover crops and organic matter. Because soil is my focus in 2026. Yet again, as renters, the easiest way on our pockets and my back is to do it one tiny project at a time. And I'm starting right here. I'm turning this area into a clover pathway leading to the future sitting area. Not just for beauty, but for the life of the soil. Cover crops do so many things to improve your soil. So why not bring life and beauty at the same time? Now, how did I do it? I soaked these white clover seeds for 5 days, removing them and replacing the water daily. On day 6, I hung the pillowcase of seeds so the water could drain. I let them dry for about 24 hours. The evening of day 7, I sowed the seeds. Then I walked over them gently to make sure they got soil contact. I watered them well 2 to 3 times daily, and here we are, 5 days after sowing the seeds. Tiny little seedlings ready to come out and play. To act as a living pathway as well as living mulch, aerating the soil, protecting the soil from the sun, attracting beneficials to the soil while improving the overall life and health of the soil. And that's just the beginning. I'm also composting. I have my own compost bin I started with stuff from all over the landscape, as well as, of course, food scraps. I'm also composting unfinished compost from our local landfill. We get it free, no questions asked. But because it's not finished, there's only so much I can do with it right now. So over here, I'm attempting to grow beans in it. Subscribe for that video, coming soon. If they grow, I'll do a good old-fashioned chop and drop. But even if they don't, this compost, even unfinished, will do amazing things for this area. And lastly, at least for now, I'll be growing watermelons in these tires and using their foliage as mulch, which means I need to grow way more than these tires can hold. But to be clear, I'm not growing them for the fruit. I'm growing them for the foliage. However, if I'm able to get some cool watermelons from this project, that's even better. But the soil is my focus in 2026 because rebuilding soil changed the way I look at life. A few years ago, this place felt dead. The dirt was dead. My plants were dying. And mentally, I wasn't in a great place either. But little by little, with water, organic matter, patience, cover crops, compost, mulch, time, and love, life started to return here. First to the containers, then to the earthworms, then to the pollinators, then to the soil itself. And somewhere in the middle of all that, I started coming back to life too. So this project is not really about a clover pathway. It's about creating a life where it never existed before, inventing the landscape while reinventing myself. My garden brought life back to the land and is helping to bring life back to me, one tiny project at a time. So like the video and subscribe to learn more about improving that crappy, rock-hard desert soil on your landscape in 2026. Spicey out.